Hey guys, Coach Winters here with the summer approaching, and it's looking like we're not going to get anything in as far as summer basketball camps go. We just want to record a series of drills and things that you can be working on at home this summer. First thing, when a coach introduces something, obviously the drill is an opportunity for you to improve your skill in some facet of the game. But even more importantly, something we talk to our players a lot about is trying to improve your basketball IQ. So as we introduce a drill, or any coach introduces a drill to you, if you don't really understand what the purpose of it is or how it will benefit you or your team, simply ask. I think the best players are also the best students, and asking a question just to clarify in a respectful way can really help you understand why you would apply something to a game situation. Today we're going to talk about finishing drills, and when we talk about finishing, we want to talk about drawing contact and the opportunity to draw fouls. And I think anytime we introduce something like this, there's kind of a butterfly effect as to why we do it. Some of our game goals include we want to make more free throws than our opponents shoot. So if we make 12 free throws in a game, we want to make sure they attempt 12 or less in order to accomplish that goal. Another goal that we have is always to foul out the other team's best guard and their best big man. And most high school teams just don't have a lot of depth at the point guard spot, and they don't have a lot of depth in the low post. So every opportunity we have to draw a foul is an opportunity to try and force their best players to the bench, which obviously gives us a big advantage. Teams rarely have somebody on the bench that can replace their best point guard or their best big man. So finishing with contact is really, really important. That's something we're going to talk about in a series of drills here today, and we'll come back to that again. Okay, this first drill is set up to draw contact against a defender, try to get fouled, then try to finish. As an offensive player, if you can control the contact, you have a better chance of finishing. A lot of times at a younger age especially, I see young players go away from contact, and that's when you see them a lot of times out of control around the basket and just not able to put the ball in the basket like they want to. So we want to initiate the contact so that way we can control that contact. So this is going to be an outside-in step. Almost looks kind of like a Euro step, only I'm not trying to beat a secondary defender here. So this drill is going to start with a defender, a dummy defender at the elbow. Dummy defender means we're just giving them one thing to try and focus on so that the offensive player can kind of read and react to that. So here we go. So again, one of the things we're going for here is I want to try and get my inside shoulder. As Brandon goes here, it'll be his left shoulder. Try and get his left shoulder into my chest as a defender. Again, initiate contact, control it. The defender generally is not in the legal guarding position, so it's going to be a foul on him, and then allows him to just kind of gather himself and be able to finish as well. Drill number 2 is a stretch finish, and by a stretch finish, again, a lot of what we're doing, we're either drawing contact or we're trying to disrupt the timing of a shot blocker. So, as you're playing varsity basketball and you imagine that 6'7" defender that's just really good at blocking shots, we want to try and disrupt his timing. So on this one, really just the outstretched arm and trying to get that shot off quicker than that shot blocker anticipates. So in this drill, we want the defender facing the basket. Again, giving him one thing to do, trying to give me an advantage here. So the ball is going to start in his back, and when I sweep it off, he can go and we play live. Okay? Okay, the third drill here is a cutoff and stretch. The finish is still the same where we're outstretched and again trying to get that off a little quicker than the shot blocker anticipates. You'll notice in this one the defender is really going to challenge your line to the rim. So I'm going to use a cutoff step before I get into my stretch. I'm just going to basically step in his path and try to take him out of the play where I can stretch and finish here. Things happen in this where you try to cut him off. In some cases, like I stepped on his foot earlier when we were practicing this a little bit, and he's moving and I'm moving, so it's one of those things. It's legal contact. Okay, the fourth one here is an offhand, off rhythm finish. Again, trying to disrupt that shot blocker's timing. So if we're driving on the left-hand side, instead of a right foot, left-hand finish, we're actually going to go a left foot, right-hand finish, kind of up and under, and vice versa on the other side. So again, the defender is expecting you to use your outside hand on a layup and your inside foot. we're going to reverse that to try and kind of throw him off a little bit here. Some of the things you'll see in this is we are taking off a little further away from the basket. Sometimes, again, that's all part of disrupting the timing. And if you're playing a really good shot blocker, sometimes you got to be creative and do these things. 5 is now we're going to attack and beat a help defender. So notice the help defender is planted right in front of the rim. We're going to assume I've already beat my man. Now I'm attacking a bigger help defender. So I want to play off of 2 feet here. I want to jump stop. I want to shot fake. I want to step through. So it's an up and under move and finish. But when I leave the ground, I have to leave off of both feet. So when we finish that jump stop off of 2 feet and I pivot, now I've got to jump off of 2 feet so I don't change pivot foot, and therefore it's not a travel. Okay, next one is a teardrop. Same setup as the up and under. You got a help defender rotating. We're just going to stop and just kind of elevate straight up. We don't want to float forward on this. So the whole idea of the teardrop or the floater is to not let the defender take a charge. So he's setting up to take that charge. We want to be able to control our body, shoot over the top of him, and then avoid contact at the finish. Okay, this next one's called show and switch. So on show and switch, again, the big help defender is rotating over. I'm going to go up and I'm going to show with the outside hand like I would on a regular layup, trying to get him to bite on that. Well, then I'm going to pull it down, kind of really squeeze my core and get to a reverse layup with the opposite hand. So I'm going to show left. I'm going to go reverse layup with the right. Or if I'm coming on the right, I'm going to show right, go up and under reverse layup on the left-hand side. Okay, this next one is a Euro step finish on a help defender. So again, we're assuming we've already beaten our man. The help defender is coming at you. The Euro step is usually a situation where you're going downhill hard and you can't jump stop and you can't get to a teardrop or a float over the top. So you're going to Euro step instead to try and avoid that charge. Best way to initiate the Euro step is almost a pass fake on that first step as you go. So we kind of watch the ball fake with that first step here as we go. So this last one is what we call a pro hop, and it's one of my favorite moves. Generally, a pro hop is when a defender is kind of going to go at your dribble hard. So if I'm dribbling with the right hand, they're going to lunge. I'm going to go over the top, literally over the top of their head with a big athletic high jump. I'm going to land with 2 hands on the ball and 2 feet hitting the ground on a jump stop, and then go up and finish. Generally on the pro hop, we teach our players to change hands. So when they're driving with the right, they pro hop big and high, and it turns into a left-handed finish just in case there's a third defender. It's not always necessary if that third defender isn't there. Okay, this last drill is called paint points. It's a game we played at 25, and it's 1 offensive player against 2 defenders. So defender number 1 is going to start somewhere between the free throw line and the top of the key. Defender number 2 is going to start with his head literally in the basket. Defender 2 can't play until I enter the paint. Okay, I don't have to shoot from the paint, but if I go into the paint, defender 2 comes into play as well. And what this does, it allows us to do some of the moves we just worked on against some live defense. The rotation of this, after I play offense, I'm going to go to defensive player 1, which is McKenna right now. She's going to go to defensive player 2, which is Brandon, and then Brandon will come get the basketball on this. Scoring on this, again, the game is to 25. If I shoot a 3, it's worth 3 points. If I shoot a 2 outside of the paint, it's worth 2 points. But if I can score in the paint, it's worth 5 points. So our emphasis here is trying to use these dribble moves and finishing moves in the paint. Okay? Alright, so we'll rotate. McKenna gets the ball. Oh no, Brandon gets the ball. So that would have been a 5-point basket. All right, McKenna, your ball. You're just trying to score. Yeah. So I think everybody got 5 points on that first round. The idea of this is you want to read what the defender does When you see them shooting for the dribble, you want a pro hop, just like we just worked on. If you see them set up for a charge, maybe a teardrop is the right move. So we're just trying to make those decisions more at game speed.